Hey everyone, Marc Luber here. Are you one of the many lawyers out there who secretly wants to be an author? That's what we're looking at today on JD Careers Out There, so stick around. All right, as you may already know, at JDCOT, we explore career paths you could do with a law degree, both in and out of law. And we do that to help you find a career that fits you and help you succeed. Our guest today is Peter Orner, and he's not only an internationally critically acclaimed author, but he's also my old friend and college roommate. His latest book, Last Car Over the Sagamore Bridge, is a New York Times Editor's Choice book and an Amazon.com Top 10 Story Collection for 2013. Peter is a Guggenheim Fellowship recipient. He's been translated in 7 languages. His books are published by Little Brown, and all of them are big award winners, including Esther's Stories, The Second Coming of Mavala Shikongo, and Love and Shame and Love. Peter's work has appeared in publications including the New York Times, Atlantic Monthly, Granta, Paris Review, and Salon. And on top of all that, Peter's also a professor of creative writing at San Francisco State University. I know he's psyched to share his insights with all of you, and I'm really psyched that he's here. So let's meet Peter. Peter, welcome to JDCOT.
Oh, it's great to be here, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. You know, I think I'm really psyched you're here because I think so many lawyers want to be writers. And so I think it's going to be really helpful since you're a lawyer who's become a critically acclaimed author. I think that's going to be really helpful to get your insider's perspective for our audience. So let me ask you this first, Peter. Since our audience is likely doing a lot of soul searching and trying to figure out if they should be writers, I think it'd be really helpful to hear about your story and how you first learned that this is a path you wanted to go down. And I can tell everybody that when we were college roommates, you used to keep me up all night because you were printing your damn stories all the time. So did you know even then? And tell us your story.
Well, you know, when I was keeping you up at night printing my stories, I knew I wanted to write, and I think wanting to write and being a writer and getting paid for it are, as you know, very, very different. But I've always, since I was a little kid, about the only thing that I think I could do well was to tell stories, and in English class or literature class or whatever it was in junior high, I wasn't very good at like grammar. I wasn't very good at like the tests on what happened in the stories or whatever. But what I was good at was telling my own stories. And I started to, so I've always done it. I mean, even, from a very early age on, and certainly in college, I didn't, as you know, I didn't go to class too much. I just wrote stories, and I was lucky that there were certain classes in college that gave me credit for writing stories. And so I've always read and wrote forever and ever. But after college and spending a few years waiting tables and, and kind of soul searching, as you said, that a lot of people that might be watching this might be in the same boat. I wasn't sure what to do. I'd always been interested in politics. I'd always been interested in criminal law in particular. And I went to law school, and I was happy going to law school. I really enjoyed law school. I went to Northeastern University College of Law in Boston, and pretty much loved it. And but when I was in college, I was at law school. I was still doing what I've always done, which is write stories. And in fact, in some of the more maybe duller classes, I spent even more time writing. I remember I got a lot of writing done, in particular in trusts and estates, because the professor would just drone on, and he would sit there and he would drink his Diet Cokes, and he would just drone. And for some reason, it was sort of like it was almost like what do you call those machines that you use to sleep? It kind of lulled me, and I got a ton of work done. Anyway, I graduated from law school, and by that time I was starting to publish stories, and I got a lot of encouragement, and I thought I would give a life of writing a shot, and it's worked out since then. But, it kind of helped frame that for me. And also, the last thing I'll say is that law school is all about stories. As you all know, lawyers watching this, law is all about stories. So, and watching and reading about how people tell them and how people advocate for their side, et cetera, et cetera. So for me, the transition between, becoming a lawyer and then becoming a working publishing writer was, you know, they weren't inconsistent. It was sort of a trajectory that made sense to me, even though it might sound weird.
All right, so who relates to Peter's story about sitting in class and writing instead of listening to the professor? If that's you, you're for sure going to want to check out the full interview, where Peter talks about how he went from I like to write to I'm an author. If you're watching on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up if this was helpful. And whether you're podcasting or watching, please visit us at JDCOT.com. There you're going to hear lots more from Peter, not just on his own story, but on what it's like to be an author, how the publishing business works, and how you can break in. If you're already at the site, make sure you join our membership. That way you get access to the full interview and the transcript and lots more helpful video content. Thanks again for watching, everybody. I'm Marc Luber, and I'll see you soon.